Hoovers, tubers, how y'all today? I am Miss LJ Hall, Ph.D. Yes. Um, I am a little worn out from yesterday, to be totally honest. Let's just be fair. I'm cooked, right? But I did a lot of pre-work today. So I thank y'all for coming to my Pathon 15-day Pathon challenge, and it will not be 15 consecutive days. I'm telling you this ahead of time. I told you this in video one. I am creating these projects myself to teach myself, and then I'm holding myself accountable by coming online and sharing the video. So not only can I look back, but I'm giving back, and it feels like a lot of times I don't feel like I have enough that I'm giving to a community, any community. So um, the hardest part about these projects, to be honest, of the project yesterday, was editing this project and waiting for it to render and stuff like that. That was the hardest part because it was so much to it. Yeah, I'm gonna be yawning throughout. This project, I got my protein though and everything else. This project is supposed to take about an hour and 15 minutes. I've done most of the typing and most of the work, and I have also gone in and fixed a lot of code. I will break a little code so we can see how to fix it. So let's get started. All right. So I'm just gonna head right in. All right. So the project we're doing today is going to be a ROI price calculator with a pricing tier. It's an easy project for the most part, and tool cost is going to be zero. And again, I want to thank my friends in my head, Next Work, not to be confused with my company Learn Network, for being so kind to create a platform that makes it easy to document my progress and my projects. All right, so the tools we're going to be using today, we're going to be learning to use Python, but we are going to be using Google Colab or however you want to say it, right? We're going to be using this. As you see, mine is already set up. So and yours should be too if you did anything yesterday. If not, it'll be easy to follow along with this, because you can think of Colab as your playground, your sandbox, to feel free to work on your codes and things. And then at the end of the day, if you mess it up, you didn't mess up anything. Colab is free. However, you do have to have a Google Mail account that will allow you access to it. I'm not sponsored by Google or Microsoft. I push a lot of their products that I use because I believe in them. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Would be nice. All right. Okay. Y'all can sponsor the little guys who don't have any following. I mean, for real. Okay. All right. Let's get to it. We're going to make our notebook, and we're going to be making a new notebook, and we're going to name that new notebook. And remember, up here in this little corner here is where you name your notebook. And we, of course, are going to name our notebook. I'm going to name this project. Let's see. I think Python ROI calculator is what I had put that I was going to name it. You can name your project whatever it is for you, but for me, that is what I am going to be naming this project. So let me go ahead and get that going. I'm going to change that from untitled to put its name in here. And remember, yesterday I told you in the notebook, the files are IPYND, and in Python, your file will be a .py file. Okay, so I'm sorry. I get these instant brain farts. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to create our markdown file for this, which our markdown file is going to tell us the headers and things that we're going to be using. Remember, it's something that communicates to Python what I don't know why that's going to be. If there's a test for this somewhere in the world, that will be the question that I get wrong. Like, what is a markdown file? Even though I've created it, but we're going to go here to text. See my big old pink finger? We're going to go to text, and we're going to put our markdown information in text. In my markdown, I have today is day 2. I'm telling what this product is going to be in HTML format. So you'll notice on one side you have the code. It has. Remember yesterday we had the hashtag, which gave us the information about, it prints the information about what we're going to be doing. And then remember, we had the double stars and we had the brackets. But today we're going to be dealing with typecasting. So we're going to use float. We're going to use int. We're going to use star, which is going to be like times. We're going to use this backslash, which is like divide and minus. We're also going to be using some conditional logic, which is if, elif, and else. And then at the end, we're going to be using some Colab parameters. So we got that together there, and you'll see that it came up nice and pretty on this side. Not so much on the other side. The other side is what? The code, right? All right. So what do we have to do, people? Pop quiz. What do we have to do to make that markdown code actually function? what we have to do. I know we have to save it, but remember, with anything in your markdowns or anything like that, at the end, you always have to shift enter, and it will give you that clean version that you're looking to have. Then next, we are going to use another text tab, and it's going to be our second break section. Yesterday, we only had one break section. Today, we're going to have a second break in the section, so new headers and new things like that. I've already kind of got that together for us, so let me go ahead and put that in. Again, this is going to be a text, so you put it in the text. If you see here, a code went there, and I didn't want a code. I'm going to delete the code from there, and I'm going to get a text, and I'm going to put that text in. And again, on this side, you'll see that it's explaining that we're going to enter the information fields, and let me make that a little bit bigger so you can see, right? Promise it's not going to take all day because I ain't got no time for this to be taking all day on me. All right, so the next part, because we've already created our level 2 cell, we're going to save. Remember, if you are in if you're on a Mac, it's Command S, and on a Windows product, it is a Control S. And you'll see that it's saving down here where my little pink bar is. So that's nice and safe. We're not going to lose that. Let me, because I don't want to forget this. Uh-oh, I did something I ain't got no business. All right. Let me, really quickly, I am going to shift enter so we can see it, and we can see that we've got all that information. See how we got the first part and then we got that second part, and then I'm going to screenshot it just because I need it for later. That's the only thing I will be doing throughout. I will be screenshotting because I need to keep those things for later, and I don't want to have to try to figure out where that screenshot was. Okay, if you guys have that much patience for me, I will appreciate it. Whew. How y'all doing out there? What y'all got going on today? If you don't mind, if you guys can put in the comments where you are, what you do, why you following me, a quick hello, just something, say hi, say something. Let me know I'm not by myself all the time. All right, so what we're about to do now is build the client form. So we're going to create an interactive form inside Colab. We're going to do some math context. I already did a lot of it. And then we're going to do some casting matters within here. I've already did a lot of it, but we're going to use something called hashtag @param. And it's a type string for each of our fields. And the reason that we're using a string is because it'll help with the numeric values. A lot of times when we're looking in code sees numbers as words. So we're going to have to change those numbers into actual calculatable variables somewhere within this worksheet. Okay, so we're going to go over to here, and I'm going to press code. I'm going to press code. I promise one day I'm going to learn how. There it is. There it is. So after that, I'm going to push code. It's going to, let's remove that because that code came right here. So let's come here. Let's come here and do the code, because I did have a problem yesterday with my codes and I had to fix them for the thing. Remember, we're going to shift enter with the code. So before I shift enter on the code, I want you to see here, and I'll make this a little bit bigger. I'm using a pretend everybody uses Acme. So as you'll see, the title came up because we put it up there, the ROI price calculator, the markdown information is in there. So what my client will enter is the client's name, the project value, and the monthly operational spend into this text, right? So now I'm going to shift enter because we want to make that actually work. Oh, you got to be in there to run it. Okay, it says it's already running. All right, so the next thing that we will do after we've added all of that code in is we're going to use a hashtag at title, and we're going to use a parameter string for that and some markdowns for that, okay, for that cell. And you want to kind of save throughout this, and I will. Okay, like I was saying, Python treats numbers as if they are characters, like there's something to read instead of something to calculate. So for us to do the math, we've got to make it float to the math. So now I'm going to put in a float code so we can make it do the math, make it do the math, make it do the math. Okay, so here's where my code is going to go, and I'll let you see my code. Let me get this down. A quick quiz for myself or anybody who cares to be quizzed. What does print in parentheses do? it shows us what we want to print. Okay. So if you'll look here, I've got project value. We're going to float. So we're going to change that from a text value into, we're going to change all of that into regular values if I'm putting that correct. So I this happened because I did put in the shift enter, the shift enter C. Here we said we want to float, and then in curly brackets we said we want the project value, because remember our person put in the project value, right? If we had gone up and changed that project value to, let's edit it. If we had changed that, okay, I can't edit it from here. I have to do it somewhere else. But on the front side, if that person had changed that project value to $2,000, it would change here. Okay. So it could do some math, because what I'm going to do is classify it within tiers like gold, silver, bronze. Like we're going to make them all Olympic to see if that person is worthy of us doing business with. All right. Let me move on, because I already feel this getting long and I don't want this to be a long day. All right. So we got the float values in. It's demonstrated and it casted the thing. But now we're going to demonstrate why casting those numbers matter. Okay. What happens if we multiply these strings by 2? Right? So let's do that. Let's get there. I'm gonna get this code in. Okay, so probably should put on my damn glasses, my doggone glasses. All right, there we go. All right, so if you see here, why does casting the numbers matter? Okay, without casting the string times 2, and then let me just show you what happens. Enter. Now it's telling us it can multiply that string by 2, and that's going to be the answer. If it's a string, it just gave us 25,000, 25,000. It didn't do any math. That's why we have to float the casting. That's why with floating the casting, here we're doing parentheses, and we're saying project value times 2 equals project value times 2 in curly brackets, right? So if I'd have said that's times 6, right? And here, up here in the string, put times 6. You see what I got? Something, I didn't do something right. Let's see what we did wrong. Let's move that. Let's delete that. And let's put back in a code of a new string. Okay, so as I was saying, my string value without casting, let's say if I said 22, and then I said 22. Oh, because I'm doing it I need to do it in project value. I'm sorry, in the second string. That's why I didn't change anything. So you didn't see, that's why I learn in public. That's why I like to learn in public, because I'm accountable for this mistake. And I was able to see the mistake, because I probably wouldn't even looked for the mistake or looked at the mistake. Now let's see what happens. You see now that it's saying that the project value is giving us 25,000, and here is calculating it. So that's not what we want. We're going to take that out. And then I'm going to put the old code back in, because I just wanted to show y'all. Shift enter, and I'm back to where we needed to be. Very, very good. Very, very good. Okay, remember, if you see an error, it depends on the variable where you're seeing that error. And we just saw what happens when you have an error, right? I'm over here correcting the other little piece of code I got. And of course, screenshot that for me documentation. Okay, so what's next? We're going to calculate ROI and annual savings. And we're going to have like a branded summary for the report. So we're going to look at the annual spend. All right, so we're looking at the annual operational spend. So however much that operational spend is, we're going by 12 because 12 months are in a year. And then the efficiency rate is 0.3 or 30% from the saving process improvements. And we're going to have it calculate, I'm using my finger like y'all can see what I'm pointing to. Calculate the savings. It's going to calculate the ROI. You see here, it's going to do an ROI float, and then it's going to do a payback float. Okay, so shift enter. And just because we want to make sure we don't lose anything, we're going to save. So the ROI percentages are multiplied, I want to say it's by 100%. Okay, and then the payback is divided. And I have that written down on what, by what, but we're not here for accounting class. We're just here to know what the code is and how to look at the code. So let me put in the next piece of code here. Now, for us to get the financial summary, we wanted to print a bunch of those. Remember yesterday we had a bunch of equal signs across the bottom with this title of the report and the investments and all that good stuff. We're going to shift enter because we see everything is there. And then it says, okay, so the ROI of our client, which is Acme Corp, investment was 25,000. The operational spend is 30%, which is 8,000 a month. And here's their annual operational spend, the estimated annual savings, the return on investment, and the payback period is 10 months. Wouldn't it be good to have your client just put in just those few numbers for you and you be able to pull this together? I got some friends who even me in business, would love to just kind of have something available for me to do that, right? So now that we have those specifiers, and we know what we've done with it and what it says, now we have to create a runtime, okay? And we're going to do a runtime all in a runtime. Let me look because I can't remember. Because we want to confirm this project. So we want to run all the sales from top to bottom with a runtime. And the report, that's what we did. And the report would tell us how long the payback period was. So I'm sorry, we already did that. I moved ahead of myself. Okay, so if we see any errors, it means that something was wrong in our code cell number 2. Okay. And I am going to try to get another quick picture because I need it. All right, so we're going to assign some logic pricing to this. So we're going to be using a function that I kind of like. It's the if, and else, right? And it's going to say, if this person is here, they're go. If they're here, it's silver, bronze. Silver, gold, and platinum are the tiers that I've assigned. And it's going to use something called conditional logic. And conditional logic is that if, and else. And we're going to go ahead and put that in. All right, so if you look at the code here, of course, we got the tiers. If that person, if that person has $50,000 projected value, they're gonna be platinum for us. They're gonna be good, right? And then we're gonna give them a 20% discount, right? ELIF, if they're 20,000, they're gold and they get a 10% discount. Okay. And then if they're else, meaning they got bad credit, no, and then we only give them a 5% discount. And what that looks like, shift enter. Let me get back in here, shift enter. When we run the code, I think I'm missing something to actually run the code. Oh yeah, I forgot to add in my chunking, add chunks for different discounts that they'll get. So let me go ahead and put that in too. Okay, so we have some things on their pricing tiers. We have a recommended pricing tier. We have the pricing breakdown, and I just ran it so you could see it here. We'll have that pricing breakdown. I'm gonna take a picture just in case I need it. All right, we have the pricing breakdown. See, because of what the client put in, our pricing tier for this client is gold. They get a dedicate. Their benefits for being gold is it's kind of like we're giving them a rewards card. Okay, like if they're gold, they're going to get a dedicated account manager with a 10% discount, and then here's their project pricing. So it's like if their project is 25,000, they get a 2,500 discount. We got to be doing a lot of business. We giving away that kind of money, and then the final price will be 22,500. All right. So that's what that meant. We got one more set of codes on how we're going to document it because we have to have some logic. We need to explain why we are doing this. So we're explaining type. I think I need to put this in text. Let's see. Yes, I got a syntax error. Syntax error means I didn't really put any. Okay, guys, the computer had to take a little break, not me. The computer had to take a little break, so I went and had my toast and got me some coffee. And quiet as it's kept. Ooh, that was hot as heck. Ooh, that burned up my insides. I felt that coffee go all the way down to my gut. Okay. Whew. Okay. Do some dumb stuff, boy, I tell you. And you are here to witness it. All right. So I we left off and we're almost at the end. For real, for real. This one has not been as long. Still a little boring, but not as long. We're at the point where we're doing the markdowns, and I did find a good definition of markdowns. Markdowns are just a conversion of plain text to HTML. Okay, now I'm going to pass that question. Not that I'm going to take a test for it, but if somebody asks me, I can know because I hate looking stupid. I hate to lose too. I'm a sore loser. All right, so we were, I think, about to put down another markdown. To be honest, yep, I was getting ready to do another text cell with another markdown on it. So I'm going to be using plain text and sending it over to HTML with another markdown here. So remember here, we're not using a code, we're using text. So we can go ahead and put that text in. Remember last time that's what it was. Before we left, I had got this and I said, well, I think this is supposed to be in text because it didn't have any code applied to it. And I was right. And we got this. And I want you to see the difference. Now I've got what I wrote, what it's supposed to look like. And then if I do the shift enter, we'll get what it's supposed to look like, but on the back end, it'll have a code for it. Okay, it'll have a markdown in there. All right, so let's move right along, right along. All right, we got one more markdown to put in there. And this markdown is really, let me explain. This information could be anything that you want it to be, right? And I'm building projects because that helps me understand things better, right? It's just how I learn. I couldn't learn with them telling me first. It's like fear is beauty. Anybody else, anybody else, anybody else. So I had to create projects. And because I'm a post-secondary education, I work in post-secondary education, I equate everything to curriculum. So I had to build a project. But here's the next markdown. And in this markdown, see, I put it in a text box and not a markdown box. See, big old mistake. So let's do that. Caught it ahead of time because I'm learning. And it says, why did I build it? Okay. What I built and why I built it. And then what's up for, I'm giving you guys a heads up for what's day 3, which I'm going to be adding validation data so that my tools are bulletproof. And I can go back and get that. I won't waste our time on that. Let's see. So we got that marked down. Okay, so now we're going to turn our text cells in our notebook to portfolio pieces by allowing other people like you to play with my toys, the things that I built. I actually built a live version of yesterday's assessment tool. I haven't attached it to my website yet. So once I attach it, I'll put a link in the description and I will put it on my Facebook page so you can play with it. Right. So now we're going to go and run all the cells by clicking runtime and then all, right? So here we are. Give me a second. I gotta make this smaller so I can see where my runtime is up here. You see that? So we're gonna do a runtime all, and you'll start to see wheels turning in the different codes, and it's gonna run all of the code. I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom. I think you kind of missed the wheels turning, but what it's gonna do is run all of the code, make sure all of the code is good, that we don't have any problems like this error here, but we took care of this error. Let me tell you what I forgot to do. I forgot to delete this error. So when I take this over to wait a minute, can I still delete it? Yeah. All right, let me do a runtime again. Runtime, we're gonna restart the session and run all. Are you sure you want to restart? No, I'm not sure. So I ain't gonna do that. I'll just say run all. All the cells below. Okay. And I don't know if you've seen it. It was just a little bitty wheel that turned and it ran all of the code that we put in. If there was any errors, it was going to give us the errors. It take it all the way back to the default values if we do run again, if we did another runtime again. So it'll have all the tiers in there. Everything will be together. We're going to give me 1 second. Let's test it because I'm not sure if I did everything correctly. Let's go all the way back to the top. Remember where here, I'm going to put in 5,000 and then I'm going to run it. Okay, let's see if it changed. Let's see if it changed the person's tier down at the bottom here. I see that it changed the text here, but let's see if it changed what tier they fell in. Okay, so look, now they got a 5,000 investment. They have a 576 return on ROI. Estimated savings will be 28,000. They only getting a payback period of 2 months. And let's see if it gave them a tier down here. See, it took them from the top tier down to a bottom tier right here, where now they're silver. So all of my code is working. That code worked. That code worked. That code worked. That code worked. Yes. Okay. So now that my code, because I was afraid that it wasn't doing the tiers, right? That's why I had to go back and check. I was like, I don't remember if I checked it because the computer had gone off. So y'all, we did that. We did that. It's working. That code worked. That code worked. Yes. That girl understanding what she doing. Let me take a picture of that. Let me see. Where was it? Where I took that person down to silver tier, right? I wasn't sure that it was working. And I'm taking my code over into my other builder. But I didn't want to play in my other builder because I pay for that. And I didn't want to play in there. And when I say I pay for it, a lot of this stuff is in tokens. And you'd be like, oh man, I ran out of tokens. You don't know why. Okay. That's because we was playing. And that's why I like having a sandbox. So thank you, Google, for making this project, because it's really helpful for someone like me who was just trying to learn. Little old me, just trying to learn. I know some of y'all think, you're a nut job. Thinking about somebody who said that. Nut job. I am. And I get very poet, but okay. All right. So I think we're done, baby. Make sure. No, we're not done because I need to create a README file. But I do that in the repository, I think. So, all right. So let's save this project because for the most part, we're done. So let's save it. Not a hella long video this time. Well, it's still a hella long video, but maybe I'll speed it up for you guys. 1.5, and then if you want to speed it up even more, that's on you, not on me. So to save this, we're going to save it in our GitHub and on our drive. Remember, Colab saves to Google Drive, and that's when you get that .ipymb file, and then in GitHub you get the .py file. So I want both files because that .py file is the actual real code that I can take somewhere else and use. Right? This is our playground file. So we're going to go ahead. I think it automatically updates, but we can do that command save. As you see right there, it's saving. And now we're going to save a copy in the drive. So it's creating it and it's sending it to the drive. Okay. But it said Colab could not open new browser to make, I don't have my pop-up window available. And I'm going to go away from that so y'all can't see my business. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and save this in our, for our Git repo. And as you see here, I'm going to take it to portfolio. It's main. And I got it as day 2. And it's creating the copy. I don't think I opened Git. No, I didn't open Git. So I'm going to pause you guys. I don't think I can pause in. Let me try. Okay, we're back. Because with Git, you have to, it's still saying, let me see if I can reopen it again. This is why you learn in public. I'm going to go to File, Command, send it over to GitHub. My GitHub is open. I don't know if y'all can see that. I don't want y'all to see all my business, but it is open. The repository is there. I know the repository is there because I've seen it earlier. URL should open in new window. If it doesn't, make sure that your pop-up, I must have a pop-up blocker on. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to always allow the pop-ups for right now. And I'm going to do it one more time. Okay. So File, Save to GitHub. It made everything. It's copying and now it's popping up. Okay. So we want to make sure, if you see here, I got day 2 there. And for day 2, we got everything that is there. And the only thing I need to make is a day 2 README file. So I'm going to try, let me see. I need a day 2 README file. We're going to make that in a few seconds. I'm sorry. I should have paused you guys because I got an email from a client. Yeah, let me pause for just a second and then I'll cut that part out. I'll remember to cut it out at 14. Okay, I'm sorry guys for that little bit of a pause. I got to remember to cut at 14.2 so I can remember to edit that part out. All right, so really quick, because we are at the end and we're done. We're just going to make a quick README file. I don't have a README file pre-written, but I want to show you how to make one. So we're in this thing that's new. We're going to go to Add File. You can upload if you already have a README file, or you can create a new file, which we're going to create a new file. I'm going to name it Day 2 README MD. It means Markdown. .md is Markdown. And then that README file will have all your little stuff. And don't forget, in front of it has to have a hash, right? And then you commit to the change and commit to the change again. And there we are with our day 2 reading. We're done. We're out this piece. I'm going to go finish up my other work, and then I'm going to go to the pool for a few seconds. And don't put hot coffee in a thermos because it'll burn out your throat. All right, guys. Ubers to you. Thank you for hanging out with me. Like, share, subscribe. You are my friend. And on day 3, I will see you.